ACT warm-up number 9. Here we go. Question number 1. The table shows the deposits and withdrawals made by the Purple Tomato Cafe to and from their bank account in 1 week. What was the average daily change in the account? So it's negative 150, then negative 280, then 160, 190, 250, negative 140, 355. Those are their deposits and withdrawals made by the Purple Cafe. So the average daily change is add these all up and divide by 7. So you'll put those in your calculator, add them together, and then you divide by 7 since there are 7. So let's do that real quick. Negative 150 plus negative 280 plus positive 160 plus 190 plus 250 plus negative 140 plus 355. Why don't you go ahead and see what those add to in your calculator? I'll wait. Or you can pause it. All right, I'm getting these 7 numbers to add to 385. So I'm going to take that number and divide by 7. That gets 55. So the average daily change was $55. Okay, question number 2. Let me clear this off. A cannery packs tuna into metal cans like the one shown. Round your answers to the nearest tenth if necessary. Use 3.14 for pi. Okay. Draw and label a net of a cylinder. A net of a cylinder, that's when you flatten it all out. So I want you to think about what a cylinder looks like. It is this thing going around here. If you flatten that out, that's going to be a rectangle. And then on the top, you would have a circle. And on the bottom, you'd have a circle. So that would fold, those circles would fold up. Those would be the bases. And then that would wrap around that. And so the diameter of that circle is going to be 6.8 centimeters. And then the height of the rectangle would be, well, it doesn't say. So anyway, that's that one. B, about how many square centimeters of metal are used you know what, that height was 4 centimeters, so that 4 is supposed to go up there. That's why I was confused. Okay, letter B. About how many square centimeters of metal are used? So if we know this is 4 centimeters, square centimeters is area. So if you think about, you got a rectangle that's got a height of 4. What is that going to be? Well, we know that the diameter of the circle is 6.8. So there's a couple of things we have to remember, okay? First, area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. Pi times the radius squared. Now the radius is half the diameter. So if the diameter is 6.8, the radius would be that divided by 2. So the radius is going to be 6.8 divided by 2, which would be 3.4. So let's remember that. So you have 2 circles. So you have 2 of those. So we're going to do pi times 3.4 squared. And this question, I mean, there's a pi button on your calculator, but if we're going to use 3.14, that's fine. So 3.14 times 3.4 squared, that is 1 circle. Take a moment to put that in the calculator to see what you get. I got one of those circles to be 36.8 2984. So if there are 2 of those, then we're going to double it. So we're going to multiply that by 2. And that would be 72.5968. So I'm going to say about 72.6 for both circles. But that's not the whole cylinder, right? The cylinder has a rectangle. It's got this 4 by, well, what is that width of the rectangle when you fold it out? Well, it turns out the width is the circumference of the circle, because that's going to wrap around the circle. So if you think about that distance there, that's going to represent this distance here. Well, the circumference of a circle is going to be pi times the diameter, or 2 pi r. Those are the same thing because 2 times the radius is the diameter. So if we know the diameter is 6.8, we could say 3.14 times 6.8. So take a minute to see what you get. I got 21.352. So now that I have that, I have the dimensions of the rectangle. I have 4 by 21.352. And the area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So if you have the length and the width of a rectangle, you can just multiply those together. So that would be 4 times 21.352. See what you get when you do that. I got 85.4. So together I have my 1 rectangle, my 2 circles, which add to 72.6, my total area. And there's a lot of work on here. That's why I kind of spaced it out. My total area is going to be 72.6 plus 85.4. So those end up being 158. So that can needs 158 square centimeters. That's how you get the area of a cylinder. Okay, take a picture, write this down, I'm about to clear it off. And letter C, the label each can goes all the way around. The label for each can goes all the way around the can. About how many square centimeters of paper are needed for each label? Well, let's go back to this problem for a second. The label part is this. That's this part right here. So we already got that. The paper is covering that rectangle. So that's going to be the 4 times the 21.352, which we got over here, 85.4. So that part should be 85.4 square centimeters. Okay, let me clear this off now. Question number 3. Which statement is true? All cones are cylinders. That's a lie. A cone looks like this. A cylinder looks like this. Those are different shapes. All square prisms are cubes. Well, you can have a square, a cube is a square on all sides. It is a prism. But are all square prisms cubes? Well, let's see. You can have a square prism that's longer, right? These are all the same sides. So that's not true. All square pyramids are rectangular pyramids. Well, let's see. That question is basically saying, is a square a rectangle? Yes. All squares are rectangles. So all square pyramids are going to be rectangular pyramids. So that is true. And then all rectangular pyramids are prisms. No, pyramids and prisms are different shapes. Pyramid, prism. So all square pyramids, because all squares are rectangles, all square pyramids are rectangular pyramids. All right, we want to clear this off. Next question. Question 4, what is the IQR of the following data? IQR stands for Interquartile Range. You may remember this from Math 1. Here's what you do to get that. First, you line up your numbers. So from smallest to largest. So let's get our smallest one. It's going to be 72. And we have 2 of those. So 72, 72. Then we have a 73, 75, 76, 79, 80. I got 2 81s. So 81, 81. And 86 and 80, 85, 86, 88. It's always good to double check that, how many you have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got all our numbers. So the way to get the quartiles is you first get the median. You split it up. You got 12, so the median is going to be half there. Then the quartiles are going to be half of the bottom, the first quartile. We say that quartile 1, that's going to be right in the middle here. So that's going to be halfway between 73 and 75. So that's going to be 74. And over here, the third, so the second quartile is really the median. If you're ever asked what the median is, just that'd be 79.5. But the third quartile is what we want, because the interquartile range is going to be Q3 minus Q1. So that's going to be halfway between 81 and 85. So that should be 83. So now what's the IQR? That's just going to be the difference. So we're going to do Q3 minus Q1, which is going to be 83 minus 74, which is going to be 9. So the interquartile range for that data is 9. And our last question. Maria took a test with 20 multiple choice questions worth 1 point each, and 20 short response questions worth 2 points each. So 20 multiple choice at 1 point, and 20 short response at 2 points. She needs to score more than 50 points to get an A. Maria correctly answered 19 multiple choice questions. So she got 19 right. Which means she got 19 points so far. And she needs to score more than 54 points to get an A. So she uses an inequality to find the number of short responses. Q. Maria has to answer correctly to get an A. I'm not sure what the question is. Maybe I missed that in the question. Oh, use an inequality. All right. So the inequality is going to be, well, let's solve it. So first, let's call this, so we got 19 correct. So we got 19 plus, so let's say the short response questions, we got 20 of those at 2 points. So each of those is going to be 2 points. So it's going to be 2x. Let's call those x. So 19 points plus 2x, and we need that to be more than, or at least, so she has actually scored more than, so more than 54 to get an A. Does that make sense? So she's got a 19 points plus 2 times, since each one is 2 points times that, x, and that has to add to give you more than 54. So that's my question. So let's solve it. So we're going to subtract 19. And 54 minus 19 is 35. So 2x is greater than 35. Well, so I have to divide that by 2. And 35 divided by 2 is 17.5. Now, that's not a possible number, right? So x has to be greater than 17.5. Well, you can't get answer 17 and a half questions. You either answer 17 or you answer 18. So you got to round up because she needs to score more than. So x has to be greater than 18, which means she needs to answer 18 of these 20 to get an A. Short response to get an A. So there's your inequality. 19 plus 2x is greater than 54. 18 is your answer.